the beginning of a new year, 2025. Did you remember to renew your Club Grief membership dues? Well, if you haven't, better do it now. Now, I hope I brought a little smile to your face with the dues renewal comment, because as you know, Club Grief members, there is no monetary dues you pay to be here in Club Grief, and we pay our dues every day with our grief. Club Grief is just a place that is always there. You can wander in, you can wander out. Stay for a little bit, stay for a lot of bit. Here's the thing, Club Grief will always be there for you, because grief doesn't simply go away. Now, for this episode, I want to talk about something a little different, but it is very relatable to grief. The episode title, 988, I Want to Kill Myself, as you might have guessed, has to do with suicide, attempting suicide, and committing suicide. Now, I personally have called 988 when I was in the deepest, darkest of my depression. And to this day, my depression does continue. When I did call 988 several times, I'm not going to tell you why I called. I felt the need to call. What was discussed when I did call, how long I had to wait to talk to somebody. Maybe somebody just wasn't there. But the great thing is that it exists, as does many organizations around the world dealing with suicide and suicide prevention. And what is my direct relationship with suicide? I don't know anybody who has committed suicide. Well, let me just take that back for a moment. This triggered a memory of mine. My younger brother, many, many years ago, back in Philly, swallowed a bottle of Excedrin. Excedrin is a aspirin. My mother used to keep bottles around the house because she would use Excedrin quite often. She would get up, maybe pop 4 pills and get on with her day, drink a lot of iced tea, etc. And she was a nurse, so she had a lot of stress, but she also had access to many medications. She was licensed to distribute and administer narcotics prescribed by a doctor. And when you prescribe narcotics, every pill is counted for. So she couldn't just take a pill and not account for it. Some nurses did do that, and they got in trouble, or they got away with it, or sold it, whatever. So my younger brother consumed many Excedrin pills that were in a bottle. I don't know how many there were, but there were enough there that they had to rush into the hospital and pump his stomach. What I can remember, it was more of a call for help. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. And I'm trying to think, what is the commonality of suicide? Of course, my brother was calling out for help. I believe that to be the case in many, many situations, and no one's there. One thing you can do if you know someone in trouble is just reach out to them. Try to be there for them the best you can. But if they are determined to do what they're going to do, they're going to do it. The thing about suicide is it doesn't care about your status in life. Now, you would hear more about celebrities or wealthy people or relatives of celebrities or wealthy people committing suicide more than you would of just regular folk like you and I attempting or committing suicide. There have been TV shows, movies, documentaries, etc. about suicide. And everyone, I think, is just different. But I think one of the triggers is depression, is grief, is loss. And most important, I think, the most common is hopelessness. There is no hope. And I just want to tell you what I've learned from grief and loss, much loss, is there is always hope somewhere. You just need to find it, or it needs to find you. I want to kill myself. Yes, that is the title of this episode. You might be wondering, why did I call it that? 988, suicide hotline, and I want to kill myself. You see, I'm a songwriter, and quite some years ago, I wrote, recorded, and released a song titled, I Want to Kill Myself. Now, before you jump to the conclusion of what that song is about, I'm going to tell you right up front, it is a song of hope. I will not tell you what inspired it, but mainly when I write songs, I'm usually inspired. And what inspired me was something very personal. If I meet the person that inspired it someday, I'll share with them, but it was more than just one person. That one person was more like the spark that led to more inspiration, thinking about people wanting to kill themselves. And what exactly is the significance of that song in Club Grief? Okay. I've written and recorded over 380 songs. It's the beginning of 2025, and it's going to keep going up and up and up. I Want to Kill Myself is the most popular, streamed and downloaded song of my entire catalog. It has the most streams, the most downloads, the most people saving, listening to it in over 100 countries, 1,000 cities around the world. Yes, it is my top song. You might be thinking, why would that be? Well, we just talked about suicide and the hopelessness. And I believe when people listen to the song, as I said, it is a song of hope. They get something out of it that perhaps might even prevent them from attempting suicide. Now, do you know what my number 2 most popular song is? Going to Disneyland, which also includes all the Disneyland theme songs. Going to Disneyland, holidays, Christmas time, Halloween, going to Disney World, going back to Disneyland. I have a whole collection of over 10 songs related to Disney parks, and they are the second most popular songs. So you might be thinking, myself as a singer-songwriter, as an artist, how can that be? My number 1 song is something about suicide, and my number 2 song is about Disneyland. Well, think about it. It's the yin, it's the yang. The acting mass, the happy, the sad. That's basically life right there. The ups, the downs, the comedy, the tragedy, birth, death, love, fear, all the extreme opposites. And that is what Club Grief is all about. Thank you for listening. And remember, if you feel depressed so much that you're going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else, pick up the phone, dial 98, reach out to someone, reach out to an organization, reach out to a friend, a family member. Anything you do, stop, think about it, take a breath, and remember, life is worth living. See you next time here on Club Grief.